ACDC are really back now. Are you ready? After an 8-year-long break, the legendary Australian rock band ACDC returned with a new Power Up World Tour. So let's take a look at this tour and its production, discuss the band's overall form, and then answer the popular questions whether they should have returned and whether it is still even worth seeing this band live in 2024. Here you go. ACDC kicked off their European leg of the tour with a show in Gelsenkirchen, Germany, with a more or less the same setlist as they had during their one-off show at Power Trip Festival in California. And now ACDC is a band which has an enormous amount of songs well suited for being a great concert opener, and I honestly cannot really say which one is the best to do it with, but in all honesty, I'm just so glad the boys have gone with a surprising choice of If You Want Blood, You've Got It, just like they did at their reunion show last year, as in my opinion it features one of the greatest old-school build-ups in the entire AC/DC discography, and having been played only 90 times in 45 years, in my opinion it actually is one of the most overlooked songs in their entire catalog. And interestingly enough, looking at this track's stats, it looks like If You Want Blood, You've Got It hasn't really been overlooked as much by the fans as it has by the band themselves, as the boys played it only a bunch of times when Highway to Hell came out all the way back in 1979 and absolutely ignored it all throughout the 80s and the 90s. And so it looks like with the song being an opening track, AC/DC somehow make it clear to all of their fans that this Power Up tour is much more than just a tour in support of their latest album. It is their legacy run, which the band mindfully opens with a song which also happens to have the same title as the very first live album ever recorded by the band in 1978. Overall, just like they did at the Power Trip Festival and the opening nights of the Power Up tour, AC/DC played 24 songs on their concert. A number which, in all honesty, I had to triple check when I first saw it. Because first of all, it is actually significantly more than AC/DC played on average at their concert during their entire career, including their golden age, with the AC/DC setlist on average containing roughly around 17 songs. And of course, given their age, I don't think that anyone assumed that they will only increase that number in 2024.
Yes, that's true.
And secondly, well, this is actually twice as many songs as most of those young bands in their 20s play today. Overall, the band's setlist of the first shows on the European leg of this tour has been pretty much exactly the same as the one they played at Power Trip Festival in 2023, with some minor order changes which, in all honesty, did not really affect the concert's mood that much, with the band overall playing 6 songs from their album Back in Black, 4 from Let There Be Rock, 3 from the legendary Highway to Hell, 2 songs from the band's latest studio-released Power Up, those being Demon Fire and Shot in the Dark, and the same amount from their 1978 studio-released Power Age, with a rather surprising choice of Riff Raff, which, not taking last year's Power Trip appearance in account, has only been performed live with Brian Johnson once, in 1996, during the band's appearance at the VH1 Studios in London. In addition to that, AC/DC performed 2 songs from TNT and 1 each from Black Ice, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, For Those About to Rock We Salute You, Stiff Upper Lip, and The Razor's Edge, closing their setlist with the explosive encore of TNT, and of course that one song on which they salute all of the rockers who are about to go and do what they do best. One of the most obvious questions most fans tend to ask about this tour, just like about any of the reunion tours by the legendary bands of such status and age, is whether the boys are still able to do it, and if their age still permits the musicians to throw a performance comparable to the one they showed in their prime. And the truth is that there is no simple answer to that question, as first of all, I think everyone understands that of course one cannot sound and run around the stage in his 70s the same way he did in his 20s. And even more, I don't think any true ACDC fan expects that from the band today. So no, of course Brian doesn't sound just like he did in the 80s, and Angus may do a slightly shorter version of his signature kick, yet still, at least from the videos posted online so far, it looks like the boys are giving it all at those shows, bringing a true classic ACDC experience to their loyal fans.
Are you ready? Sweet apple pie.
And now, after the band's last year's appearance at Power Trip Festival, when they finally reunited and hit the stage together as a band with Brian Johnson, I told myself that, hey, it doesn't even really matter how Brian sounds. Just the whole fact that we get to see ACDC up on stage once again, after most fans did not even believe this will ever happen again, is simply mind-blowing. And I still stand by that statement. But at the same time, in all honesty, by simply comparing Brian's performance at Power Trip Festival in 2023 and at the very first shows of the Power Up tour this year, it looks like Brian's vocal performance has actually become much stronger than it was last year. And I know it may sound extremely weird talking about such legend as Brian Johnson, but it looks like Brian has become more confident, as if after that one-off reunion show last year he kind of believed in himself that he can do it, resulting in Brian Johnson and the rest of the boys actually performing at a much higher level than many critics expected them to. Oh yes, and still, once again, just the whole fact that we still get to see ACDC live today in 2024 is mind-blowing by itself. By the way guys, here I just wanted to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the Metal Pilgrim channel. So if by any chance you still haven't done so, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching on this show, I would really appreciate it if you would consider doing it right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together.
We're gonna have a good time. Always.
But going back to the show itself, on the 2024 Power Up tour, ACDC bring to life everything the band has been famous for throughout the years, going all in with a massive stage production, special effects and patriotic cannons, ready to salute all the real rockers around the world who, let's be honest here, a year ago were not even hoping to see ACDC up on stage once again, especially like that. With Brian Johnson, Angus and Stevie Youngs, Matt Laug and the bassist Chris Chaney going all in on the tour on which they do not really have to prove anything to anyone anymore. And I know that it may be just me because, you know, I'm a Ukrainian in Ukraine, and of course all of us are not able to see our favorite bands here these days, which, by the way guys, please continue supporting us in any way you can. And please do not forget that the biggest war since World War II is going on right now, right in the middle of Europe. But still, I, in all honesty, do not understand what people mean by saying that they're not going to see ACDC when they're, you know, physically able to do so at this reunion tour. So yes, in my opinion, the 2024 Power Up tour, at least so far, is a true celebration of everything ACDC have achieved throughout the years, of their entire legacy and the legacy of rock and roll itself. And the truth is that on this tour, ACDC are doing much more than pretty much all of their fans expected they would. So yes, if you ask me, I would absolutely love to see ACDC live on this tour, given the best possible version of this band in 2024 the fans could have possibly dreamed of, given all of the circumstances. But anyways, what do you guys personally think about ACDC's return, and are you personally planning to see this band live this or next year? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching the short video guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!